2024 was a very, very tough year for a lot of people that work in the creative space, whether you're a cinematographer, videographer. A lot of people I know that worked in this space shared the same experience that I had. Work wasn't completely dead, but it was not what I was used to, and I saw a massive drop within the revenue that I make from my cinematography and video work. So in this video, I'm gonna share 5 things I'm gonna try and make sure I do going forward in order to make sure that 2025 is a more successful year and help me improve in my skills, increase my revenue, and make sure that I'm not having as much downtime as I did in 2024. One of the first things I'm going to try and do a lot more is leverage AI. Now, not to use AI as a buzzword, and this doesn't mean necessarily using AI to create video images. I'm talking about using elements of AI technology within my workflow process, because it can save you a lot of time, can also reduce costs. One of the spaces which I found is very handy was I had a shoot in which part of the shoot was shooting some short fashion films, but also had to shoot some product videos. Usually we tend to shoot in larger studios on bigger site walls, but for this campaign, there was a smaller budget. So what I did was I found a much smaller studio. And in this instance, we were shooting on smaller white backdrops, reducing the budget. And then that meant there was a little bit more money left for myself and for renting out extra lenses and lighting and things like that. But in order to get the feel of this being shot in a bigger studio, what I did was I used Adobe's generative fill to extend the background. And this was something in the past I've been reluctant to do, but the more I think about it, is this technology is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And I think it's about incorporating it within your workflow in a way that you feel comfortable with, and that also enhances your creativity, because I think if you're not using it, you're going to be left behind. Second thing I want to talk about is multiple revenue streams. I think this is so key, regardless of my aim to ensure that I have less downtime. There will be times that there will be downtime, and having additional revenue streams will really help out in these periods. Now, this might be tricky for some. Luckily for me, I had some other revenue streams that were not just related to my filming and video work. But this year, I would like to increase those revenue streams and have them more related to my film and video work. So one of the ways I'm going to look at doing that, by doing things such as this, YouTube. You can look to start a YouTube, but doing it in a way that fits in with your workflow or gives you that creative expression, because there's opportunities to earn income through things such as YouTube or even other social media platforms such as Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. Another thing to do is to look at selling digital assets. If there's certain assets that you know you've created and you constantly use within your workflow, why not make this available to sell? So one of the assets I use often is film mats. I love using film mats when it comes to vertical video. I often do it for clients who in a lot of cases do want a lot of vertical video now, and I like using these film mats. I thought, let me just put them in a pack, put them online, and I was offering it out free for anyone to download that found them useful. I think there's a good way just to see if there is an appetite for the kind of digital assets that you're going to create. So I would start off with something small, something simple. Look at also things like teaching online courses. Not necessarily something I feel I want to do, but it's an option that you could look at. Building your personal brand. This is something that I really need to improve on in 2025. It was something I did very little of in 2024. And to be honest, I've done very little of in the past. What I mean by building your personal brand is, in today's market, especially within the creative industries, it's not just enough to be good at what you do. You also have to tell a story about who you are and how good you are at your work and how you do your work, because that will play a role in kind of separating you from the crowd, because there is a lot of competition out there. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to promote yourself on social media. And this is something I don't do often, but I think posting regularly on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, these things all help in selling your personal brand. And a really simple way to do this, and when I have done it in the past, is to film yourself when you're doing the work. So you kind of collect a lot of BTS footage, and then you can post that regularly, show the kind of work that you're doing. And if you're someone who doesn't like being in front of camera, that's one of the best ways to do it. It's quick and it's easy. I think another thing I definitely want to do a lot more about selling my personal brand is use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very effective platform. Probably now it's a little bit more saturated than it used to be, but it's still a useful platform, and that's something going forward I definitely want to make sure I'm promoting and putting my work and talking about how I work on LinkedIn. So the fourth one is to collaborate with more people. One of the biggest mistakes I made in the beginning was not working with people. And by that, I don't mean I wasn't a team player or willing to work with others. I just preferred working on my own because I'm quite impatient when it comes to getting stuff done with filming. And sometimes, you know, adjusting your style to someone else's style can get a little bit tricky. But what I have realized of late, when I have worked with other people, it's been far more productive, and I think it's actually improved my skills a lot. So going into 2025, I definitely want to make sure I collaborate with other filmmakers or videographers, because I think by doing that, you learn new skills, you can impart your skills onto other people, and I think you can get a lot more achieved, and I think it opens the doors to other people. So collaborating and networking is something I think I definitely want to do more of, and there's ways you can do it without just necessarily maybe going with anyone, but you can take time and look for people in your network that fit your style or match the way you want to approach filmmaking. So definitely in 2025, one of the things I want to do is make sure I network and collaborate a lot more. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is making sure your mental and physical well-being is in a good place. Now, I know that may be tricky when you're constantly on the grind trying to make things happen, but one thing I've realized is that sometimes if you focus too much on work, you will burn out, and you don't want to get into the position where something that you actually love in the form of creating and making films and filming videos is going to become a thing that causes you mental or physical stress. It's not a good place to be in. One thing I'm definitely trying to do is make sure I don't burn out, because I think it impacts your creativity and almost kind of puts you off doing what you like. And I'm also making sure I'm staying on top of my physical health during busy periods, because especially the editing process can take a long time, and before you know it, you've probably been sat at a desk for like 8 hours. That's not a good place to be in. So those are the 5 things that I'm going to be doing in 2025 to ensure that I have a better year in terms of my filmmaking career than I did in 2024. So I'm going to try and stick to these and make sure I do it, and hopefully everything works out as I plan. But for now, thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.